Hello, greetings from New Jersey. We'll start the lecture of European Medical Laser Association. My name is Dana York. I'm a professor at PMS College for Advanced Research at Kerala University. As the president of European Medical Laser Association, we prepare a series of lectures every week. And today is the second lecture of the year. On the 5th and 6th, we have a conference where we have the best of the best, our friends, lecturers from all entire world. Please come to the conference. We will talk about mercury toxicity, the method of Professor Hesham El-Esawi and me. Unfortunately, we lost Hesham in 2018. He left London and he arrived in Egypt and he died in 2018. Bless his memory, a wonderful, great man, and I'm very grateful for all his teaching, and I want to share it with you. So, talking about mercury, let's see what we have to say. Bear with me 1 second. This is the symbol of Mercury. The symbol of Mercury that was praised over the years. Roman Empire loved it, China, Egypt. Since it got invented, it was used and used and used. When it got invented in Greece, they took the name of the god Hermes. Mercury is the name after the Roman god Mercury, Greek god Hermes. In Maya, they use it in the pre-industrial Maya civilization. Then they make beautiful monument of art. Calder, an American artist, made this amazing fountain. He presented it in Paris. Then they used as the most effective laxative. The density makes clear intestines and so on, and very effective laxative, this mercury. Also, it was used for creams. In ancient times, in India, in Pakistan, all around the world, for whitening creams. To get a whitened skin, very popular, so popular. And then we know that if you want a party, even if it's just a tea party, you must have the Mad Hatter, which is an entertainer, is a handsome man, like that one. Why they call it Mad Hatter? So the Jobin, the hats were polished with this mercury to make it shiny. So from that, the workers, hatters that were polishing the hats, because they were in contact with the mercury all day long, and they were inspiring the vapors, they got dementia and they died. So from that, the Mad Hatter disease, from that they put the Mad Hatter into the story. But at that time, we didn't know. So we had this use of polishing the black hats with the mercury. And then we had the furs. We need to prepare the furs with mercury. Then we had all kinds of inventions, the electric bulb, the thermometers, the blue lamp, all using mercury. The small scale mining. Then at one point they did this shipping for Her Majesty ship Triumph. And when they did the shipping, they found out that they started to shake, all the sailors. And then they found out that the Mad Hatter started to get more and more funny until got dementia, got really Alzheimer and very bad manic depression. So with all this industry that got it more and more to work, what happened? From the industry, we had the spells of mercury. The spells. What is this mercury? It's a heavy metal, number 80 in all the panel of metals. Is it toxic, this metal? Yes. Is it poisonous? Yes. And how does it go? So how the Industrial Revolution and then all this need of bulbs and lamps and that and this and creams and so from this plant, the factory, the mercury waste went to the sea. From the sea, the fish got it, and then also it went into the vapors of the atmosphere. In water, it became the watery mercury, and then from the volcano is another source of mercury. So we have the industry. From the industry goes into atmosphere, then it goes into water. From volcanoes goes into atmosphere. Then we have the methyl mercury accumulation in environment, from phytoplankton all the way to the shark, which is considered the largest fish. But from one of these factories, one time in the 60s, they went all the way, the spell went all the way to the Japanese Sea, and it happened that everybody got mutated children, deformations, people got crazy. This is one of the babies of Minamata disaster. These are the protesters in Minamata disaster again, and this is the Minamata monument in Japan. Another Minamata disaster was in Ontario, right here. So what happened? There it was an Indian colony, the first nation crossing the Narrow River, and on this river they had this plant, and from the plant the river accumulated mercury and they got sick and they died. Clean the mercury in action, racism and genocide, because they didn't do anything, so they were very upset. They had this pipeline with mercury. Shame, because lots of the Indians in that place died. We continue. So, in Africa, no mercury. In Asia, huge amount of mercury. In Europe, and the rest, less mercury. Look at that. The mercury sits in the jar and the coin sits on top. It's something. And what? We have it all around us in the bulb and stuff, even in the creams, in the lights. And the mercury is done, used for mining for gold. And then they use it for whitening. That's a shady business. So what we did, we sought to get a solution. So from that, my beloved professor, Shamel Essawi, and I, we came together with a method. Look carefully at all these symptoms and see if you have any. Insomnia, paresthesia, nervousness, hallucination, dizziness, headache, anxiety, fatigue, loss of confidence, muscle weakness, irritability, hearing difficulty, drowsiness, emotional stress, depression, skin inflammation, weight loss, lack of coordination, tremor, kidney damage. If you have 3 of those, you are suspect to be a victim of mercury toxicity. How you detect can be measured in urine, in blood. Some techniques are capable to distinguish organic from inorganic forms of metal. And we have finally, somewhere invented in America, this lovely mercury vapors analyzer. Is non-invasive, simply way to use with immediately diagnostic test result. God bless the memory of Dr. Hesham El-Esawi, my mentor. Mercury was used for poisoning. It goes impaired vision, impaired hearing, no more speech, in cosmetic, in lamps, and so on. Only in 91, World Health Organization declared mercury as a toxic stuff, the amalgam, but still not much was done even to today. Another diagnostic test, we got this meridian test on this magnetic resonance to see whatever we have intolerance to. So magnetic resonance test will give us where we have food intolerances, heavy metals, what supplements are good for us. It's a really effective machine. I use it for many years, and it was always right. Common in the world where we find containing of mercury in pesticides. There you go, I let you read. Thermometers. Who wants an aesthetic feeling? The Tin Man would want a metal feeling. This is one of the articles we wrote in London. So, where does mercury go? Headache, memory loss, encephalopathy, anemia, peripheral nerve, digestive system, and then it accumulates in the joint. From that we got the grades of mercury toxicity. You see where is the red skin and stuff. It might be a sign of mercury toxicity. In amalgam, feeling we have more than 50% mercury. It can be detected from all over the body. Grade 1, tired, no sleeping, wake up tired, foggy brain, memory loss, mood swing, depression. Grade 2, in top of that we get insomnia and migraine, sore throat, then muscle pain, tremors. In grade 4, skin lesions, bladder problems. Then in grade 5, you have manic depression, insanity, severe loss of memory, and diminution of mental faculties. So you see, before all this industrial use of mercury, we did not have all those diseases. We did not have all those children with problems. There it is how you can see the mercury poisoning in the X-ray. The autism given with the vaccines in 75, because the vaccines for children, they were having mercury. So there it is, you have a whole generation of mercury poisoned children. Mercel has been removed from US vaccines, but is still there in some of them. But infantile acrodemia, where they gave this baby powder to the child containing mercury. And then they had discoloration of hands and feet into pink. and then loss of teeth and loss of nails. This is the Jerome Mercury analyzer. What we do with it, we get to the hair, inspire air, sudorypary glands, and each quadrant of the mouth. Then we use the Bio-Meridian test. We get to see what stressed the body before the body is sick, or we detect with that some things that the general medicine cannot see. The intolerances to food. So by making a screening, we see which aliment we can be intolerant to. Can be bananas, popcorn, or can be donuts. We have a no-no list: chicken, eggs, garlic, onions, spring onions, leeks, and fish. Why garlic and onions and spring onions and leeks? Because they are in the soil, and if the soil got contaminated with the mercury from infiltration of water, then we get from that contaminated garlic. So we did test it with Jerome Mercury analyzer, garlic that was very expensive, organic garlic, and had 1,000 cumulus of mercury. Normally the reading is in the atmosphere 4 and 11 is maximum. So when we have a patient that comes to us, is already somebody that went everywhere trying to find what happened, and in all the blood tests, everything is okay, right? So in all the blood tests, everything is okay. But when we test with the Jerome Mercury analyzer, we see the reading of vapors 500, 800, 400, 200. And then we try to see also on each tooth that might have a mercury amalgam, and we read some mercury amalgams. It's this one. They don't eliminate vapors. What does that mean? That the patient does not grind, but if the patient grinds, they eliminate vapors. Now, if it is an old filling, at all times, 100%, it gets marginal leakage. So then in between the wall of the tooth and in between the wall of the filling, we get a space. And in that space enters saliva and debris of food. And I've never took off an amalgam filling that did not had decay under. So, okay, I don't know what is the best, if we remove all the fillings or not. I don't know. I know that our patients, they don't come to remove amalgam fillings. They come if they have the symptoms of mercury toxicity. But FDA said, let's continue to use amalgam. Make it mandatory in all the fillings on the posterior teeth. So if you want to get a free filling from the National System of Health, then you must have a mercury filling. Is that okay for the American Dental Association? No studies show that harm from mercury is done. No. So then another thing that we found out, that you have this metal in the head, in the mouth, right? And you have this liquid. So your head become a radio. You get a galvanic bath in the mouth, and you get another bridge with copper. Then we get something else with gold and silver, chrome nickel, and then you get a whole transistor or radio in your head. So who wants an aesthetic feeling with the mercury? The Tin Man. Are we the Tin Man? No. We are human beings. We have a body, a biological system, so we want to stay that way. So we test each quadrant, each feeling, the inspire air, and we make the baseline to see what happened and what we're gonna do. So we test. Then what we do, we rinse and soak with this Environ. Environ is a liquid made of algae mix. So as the ocean have its own filter with the algae for the toxicity that comes in the ocean, we use this algae to filter and to clean the tooth. Also, we use a magnesium hydrogen powder. So as you see, the face of the patient, it is covered with this gold mask that covers the nose, the ears, the eyes, and then with the sponge, we cover the throat. So the mercury cannot go. What we do, we take each quadrant and we clear at the same time. We soak each tooth so that we got at the end from removed the metal until we have 0 mercury vapors. But still the mercury rests in the enamel, the mercury rests in the gum, and rests in the bone, in the blood, because we are intoxicated, it is in the bloodstream. So we keep doing this de-kelinization. We take tablets to remove the body's content of mercury, exactly as they did cleaning in the spillage in the industry. We do the same. We soak with magnesium hydrogen, and we do this rinse with the algae mixed. We take chlorella, and the tablets for de-kelinization. So then we test, and we test, and we test. Ultrasonic removal of any mercury content deposits in the gums, in the margin of the gums, air polish to remove any mercury vapors. The patient is at all times sedated. Then we prepare bottles and the patient use this rinse for 2 months, and then we retest to see the level of mercury if it's detox, and then we do also the Bio-Meridian testing. Then we read for the patient each sample food that is in the daily routine, and we found some very high level of mercury, even in eggs or bread or chicken. And the patient, of course, will eliminate those toxic foods. We don't stop until we see the level of mercury is 0. And what do we find? We really find that the patient improved the status of health. So what kind of spillage we want? We want this kind of spillage and not the mercury spillage from the industry. What kind of Mad Hatter we want? We want this kind of Mad Hatter. And thank you very much for coming today. Now to recapitulate, we will look at the what we will look at. We will look again at some of the things that happened with the mercury. 1 second. What do you think? If you have any questions, please go on the website www.emlamedical.com and we'll answer right away any of your questions. It is so nice that so many people came. Another thing that I want to show you is this statistic. Look at that in Asia. It's much more mercury than all the other countries. Because why? I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. They used to have those medallions for beauty, to spells, the witchcraft. And they used to put mercury in the tombs. But you know, it's funny. Even now, when we know that so much of all this mercury is really bad for you, even now there is so much of this and we don't like it at all. We don't like it. So to recapitulate, to make sure that everybody learned, what did we learn? So we learned that patients who seek help for mercury toxicity, they already eliminated in all the diagnosis, all the sources. They try everything. And how they come? They come with bleeding, with sensitivity, with they come tired, exhausted, brain fog, concentration problem, short-term memory. So maybe by being exposed to all these light bulbs, detergent, powders, and whatnot, pollution in New York, the pollution was very high with mercury some years back. Imagine in Asian cities where industry is so high. So for that reason, a whole generation with mental illness, entire generation, generation after generation, and all those people with sinus problems and so on. So we test with mercury vapor analyzers, we do the Bio-Meridian test, then we remove in safe way the mercury, then we soak that areas with algae mix, we soak that area with magnesium powder, we retest, we clean until the region is mercury free, zero vapors. At that time we start the de-kelinization process with tablets. What they do, they remove metals from the body. We do x-rays and we do readings of the vapors and then blood tests. And what do we find? We found that in all cases the symptoms go. 100% of the patients that went through detox of mercury, they state that their status of health is much better. How did LLLT help? LLLT, as you know, photobiomodulation, it causes this reaction with the oxygen of the cell, and that is the reaction with the oxygen of the cell. Then is the reaction with stimulation of oxygen to reduce the toxicity in the cell. So then that's the way the mercury goes away as well. So we are happy that with Mercury Detox, we got together with the laser therapy photobiomodulation, we managed to improve the health status of the patient. Of course, we don't know anything. Much research must be done. And let's hope that will be light and the devastation of mercury toxicity will go away. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Dana York, and lots of love. Bye bye. And don't forget to enjoy life.